how they relate to sustainability. It may not be too much of a research talk, but it will give a lot more glimpse into what all is happening in the country. I represent Gati Shakti Vishwavidyalaya, and this is India's only university. It's a central university. It's India's only university in the transportation and logistics sector. In our mandate, we are supposed to be IIT plus IIM together for this sector, and that is the IISERs university. So to start with, I seem to assert that every technology, every area that scientists are working in any university around the world basically are trying to work for humanity, whether it is for water, many technologies or air, any technology that you do, I want to impress upon you that it must be for humanity, and only when it is for humanity that there is a meaningful research. So there are several technologies that are currently happening and that are defining this decade and the next decade, like whatever area you are working in, all areas are great. Okay? Because all these areas will help the humanity. So I am very quickly skipping many things and coming to our country in the interest of time. As we know, our country is rising very rapidly, one of the fastest growing economies in the world, based on the reform, perform, transform and inform mindset. We are aspiring to become Viksit Bharat. And two examples that I gave, which gives a lot of confidence and credibility that what we are saying is actually going to happen. First aspect, we know that recently India overtook China in terms of the smartphones that are exported to the US. It is a big thing. We always talk about Chinese phone, but this has happened. Second thing that has happened, we all know about our digital public infrastructure, the revolution that has happened is in UPI transactions has become a model for the entire world to follow, with more than 24 lakh crore of transactions happening. What that means is that if we want, we can do. So now, let us talk about the theme that I told that I will talk about. This is for infrastructure. And infrastructure in India is very radically getting revolutionized. And that is where a lot of technology is involved and a lot of sustainable aspect is involved, and that is something I want to draw your attention to. When we talk about infrastructure, it can be of many types. It can be physical infrastructure, that can be railways, aviation, your airports, your ports, your highways. This is a physical infrastructure. It can be digital infrastructure. A digital infrastructure, like we talk about UPI is a digital infrastructure, RR is a digital infrastructure, DigiLocker is a digital infrastructure. It can be social infrastructure in terms of your universities, your colleges, your schools, your healthcare sector, and so on. So India's infrastructure journey actually is very inspiring, and we will talk about that more. Further, an important aspect of our day-to-day life is logistics, on how goods, people or services move from one place to another. Okay? Whether during COVID, how the oxygen cylinders were made available, how the masks were being used, or you get a one-day delivery using Amazon at home, or you use Zomato or Swiggy, everything is actually based on logistics. And therefore, this is a key infrastructure sector. Now let us see the growth that is happening in the country. Railways every day carries 2 crore passengers in India. I am talking Indian Railways every day carries 2 crore passengers. More than 10,000 passenger trains and equal number of freight trains. Last year we made locomotives. Not many know, but through Make in India initiative now we are making locomotives, more and more locomotives in India. Last year we made locomotives that were larger than the combined of Europe and US. We are actually exporting locomotives. Recently, whether it's Madhepura 12,000 horsepower locomotive being made, double engine, or 9,000 horsepower single engine freight locomotive made in Lahore, India actually is very big in locomotive making. And ours is the 4th largest railway network in the world. We have more than 1,20,000 kilometers of the railway track. When we do that, what is happening? Right? On one side, we say we are introducing Vande Bharat trains, semi-high-speed trains, but on the other side, you also need railway track that will carry those trains. Therefore, a significant part of our effort is going on in ensuring that our track can support the larger speed. So at this moment, I talked about more than 1,20,000 kilometer speed. More than 23,000 kilometers were upgraded to 130 kilometers per hour in last year. That's a very, very big focus. We are focusing a lot more on automatic train protection systems and food safety and security. Kavach board or video installation is already beginning to take. If you talk about Vande Bharat, though it is, we can say it is a new train, only few people are doing, but 3 crore people have already traveled on Vande Bharat. Okay, more than 150 Vande Bharats have been introduced. It is an example of indigenous technology built in India at a high speed. And this is what we call as giving Gati through Swadeshi. If you look at bullet train project, it is not merely 508 kilometer journey, but this journey at a speed of 320 kilometers, it will actually set up the whole. It is not merely reaching fast. For example, between Ahmedabad and Mumbai, currently, as we know, most of our cities, particularly Bombay, for example, with a large population, have great difficulty in terms of finding affordable housing or whatnot. But assume you can go to Bombay every day and come back from Bombay at a 1 hour kind of a thing, and you can still live far away from Bombay and live there. Therefore, this kind of transportation actually will transform the way we live. It will decongest our cities. It is not merely moving fast. Moving fast is important, but there are several what we call in transportation world transit-oriented developments that will happen. When we talk about our Amrit Bharat Station redevelopment scheme, it is not beautification of buildings. It is because wherever our 7,300 railway stations in the country are located, they are all located in city centers. You all know that, right? Therefore, that city center is an economic hub. It is a cultural hub. When we revitalize, then there is an economic activity that happens because of that. And that is what is happening in Indian Railways. Now, in terms of sustainable growth, 2 important things that are happening. Firstly, when India declared that by 2030 the phase 1 of the net zero target will be achieved, our Honorable Prime Minister recently highlighted that we have already achieved the phase 1 which was supposed to be achieved by 2030. Particularly in railway, this is the news of maybe 10 days back. That is Banaras locomotive work. They have laid the first removable solar panel system on our rail tracks. This is a direction that we are strongly taking. More than 99% of our rail route is already electrified. We are moving away much faster from diesel locomotives to more sustainable modes as we go ahead. Not only stopping there, our first hydrogen powered train is about to be rolled out. It has recently been tested. And we can be very happy to say that this 1200 horsepower engine is the strongest engine in the world for hydrogen power train, again designed in India. So this is the sustainable aspect of how our transport in railways will move to. See, we are all engineers here. 2 or 3 things we can be very, very proud of the 3 important bridges that were recently inaugurated. The Pamban Bridge, India's first vertical scenic bridge, an example of great engineering excellence. We talked about Chenab Bridge, a bridge higher than Eiffel Tower. Great engineering example. It's the single largest railway arch bridge. Anji Bridge, India's first cable-stayed bridge. Therefore, engineering excellence in India is getting noticed visibly and transforming India. And this is something that we need to continue to focus on. We move to another sector, right? Dwarka Expressway recently, as we know, our Honorable Prime Minister inaugurated the Delhi section of it. It's a great example of how many lanes we are supporting, how we are ensuring multimodal connectivity. Our expressways are getting transformed. We are building national highways at a rate of 35 km a day. We currently have 146,000 kilometers of national highways and sends across US slope. And these are all border types. We talk about aviation sector. As I talked about 2 crore passenger train, rail travel every day. Actually, many of them have moved from railway to aviation. Today, 5 lakh passenger train, 5 lakh passengers take air travel every day. We have become the 3rd largest aviation market in the world. Our 8 big airlines, Air India, Indigo, and Akasa have already ordered 1,300 new aircraft. Number of airports have more than doubled from 74 10 years back to 162 now. Under regional connectivity scheme, we are connecting 350 small towns for Udesh ka naam aam aadmi udan nahi sakta. Therefore, there is a big transformation happening in the aviation sector. You know, in aviation sector, airfare rise when fuel prices change because of geopolitical situation and others. And therefore, there is a big focus in the aviation sector at this time on sustainable aviation fuel. Not only from requirement point of view, but you see the actions being taken recently with Air India, with Indian Oil, sustainable aviation. I am very happy to say that in our university, as I mentioned we have already set up a center of excellence for sustainable aviation fuel in support with Airbus. And we are moving ahead with that. Another important area is on inland waterways. India has more than 15,000 kilometers of waterways. Not all of them are navigable. And this is the cheapest mode of transport, most environment friendly. And therefore now Inland Waterway Authority of India is putting a lot more focus on inland waterways. You talk about maritime sector, 90% of our international trade is through maritime sector. We have 12 major ports and 200 minor ports. 90% of our international trade is through where India becomes Viksit Bharat. Definitely our export will rise, and therefore we have to modernize our maritime sector if we have to have more and more export. In this, a lot of technologies are getting enabled, our ports are getting modernized, our ports are getting digitalized. In last 2 years itself, the turnaround time when a big ship comes, it is vacated and then new things are put and then things are back was 42 hours. Today we have cut it down to 24 hours. Again, big technology. If you look at the maritime sector, we are focusing a lot more on entire maritime sector becoming green. Whether UC port is a record breaking for the renewable energy, or recently even at the Neeldial port, which carries around 23% of our international trade at Kandla, has moved to the green hydrogen. They all are waiting for us in academics to run more and more programs on these aspects. Therefore, whether Barbuda port getting solar or Neeldial port moving to green hydrogen mission, it is for us now to build those skills and support them. Similarly, in last 50 years, for the first time we are creating a new port at a cost of 76,000 crore. We did not make any new port in last 50 years. This is the new port getting created at Barbar at 76,200 crore rupees. It will be a multimodal port with dedicated freight corridor next to it, national highway next to it, and so on. Another great example of engineering marvel is world's tallest statue, the Statue of Unity. You have to go and see the engineering aspect of that, not tourist is all great. And right here in Delhi, in Saraikala, we are making the mega transport hub with the RRTA system, with the metro system, and this is what we are creating. So that irrespective of where you want to go, from first mile connectivity to last mile connectivity, how can we have it? Delhi actually is the first state in India to have a metropolitan transport authority. To ease a multimodal transport, whether you take metro train, whether you take e-buses, whether you take rapid rail or anything. So over the past year, we know we have a target of 500 gigawatt of renewable energy by 2030, and we have already crossed 230. So there is a big focus that is happening in India on sustainability side on all the aspects, whether it's solar, wind, bio, or hydro, on all aspects that we do. So now, in last 2 minutes, I complete. Therefore, in order to build our infrastructure, one of the biggest pain points always was that when we started building our roads or railways, they used to run and not complete in time. And therefore, in order that our projects are completed in time within the required cost, PMGC Shakti National Master Plan was launched. This plan is the single biggest national master plan after our independence of the size of $1.2 trillion, approximately 30% of GDP over a period of years. And in order to support that manpower, our university was created. I'll just highlight 2 or 3 important aspects of the university. Professor Joshi talked about translational research. We are set up only to do applied research. And we are therefore by definition translational research hub for the entire transportation sector. And therefore all our programs are made with industry, what to teach, who will teach, how do we do immersion and employability. Within 3 years of our setup, already students, more than 91% students placed, many more patents filed, many new technologies, because our focus is very clear. There are 23 IITs, there are 22 IIMs in IIM already added, 32 NITs. We don't have to do what others are doing. And that is what we are trying to do. We are the only university in India to offer BTech program in rail engineering. We are offering BTech program in aviation engineering. Aeronautical, there are many IITs already doing, but aviation sector is a different sector. We are running programs for logistics and supply chain management for defense sector, which relies only on logistics. Very important. We are the only university in India to run a program in metro rail management because 29 cities of India today have 50,000 people working in metro. There is a need of the hour and we are running programs related to that. I'm skipping some slides. I just want to highlight that we have a very big tie-up with several top industries. Perhaps this is one of the biggest in whole of India, and at World Economic Forum in Davos, our industry was recognized as a role model for the entire country to emulate in terms of industry. Not only that, within 3 years, our faculty members have already filed 11 patents, and many of them are related to sustainability. I am very happy to say that one of our faculty members this year was recognized by Honorable President of India for a sustainability project on how do we convert municipal waste to wealth. We are now doing this as a large scale. And in my last slide, I want to invite all of you to collaborate and co-create because today we are living in an interdependent world and we have to work together. That's all. Thank you so much.